Welcome, my friends, to the world of HeroQuest, a place unlike any other. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I hope your holiday was special and that you had an opportunity to unplug and spend time with your family and friends. We all have so much to be thankful for. As you can tell, things have changed around here in a fun way. Welcome to my brand new hobby space. This video is going to be the start of something new in 2026 as I continue to grow into new directions. I want to take the time personally to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. Today we reached 2,000 subscribers, which is awesome news. I never imagined the channel would get this far and be enjoyed by more than a handful of people. I couldn't have done this without you, and for that, I'm incredibly grateful. 2025 was a fantastic year for HeroQuest as we saw the addition of First Light earlier in the year, as well as the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness finally coming to retail. Some of you even saw the release of Wizards of Markar earlier in Australia when the distributor accidentally shipped the boxes early. But most of us are still waiting for that to finally hit retail shelves. But what will Avalon Hill have in store for us in 2026? Join me as we talk about an old rumor and dream about all the expansion possibilities. This is the Fair Weatherman. Welcome back to the channel. This has been a huge creative outlet for me as I love talking about vintage board games. I find an incredible amount of joy rediscovering the classics from my youth, as well as discovering a handful of Games Workshop games I never knew existed. I have a huge case of Faux-stalgia for 90s retro board games. Shout out to user Winding Road for reminding me to put out a year in review video, as well as talk about HeroQuest speculation in 2026. I must admit, my mind closed down heading into the holiday as I plan to get some painting time done during my time off. But as you can see, Santa brought a box full of studio lights, so here we are. I plan to sprinkle in more commentary videos this year in a way to produce more videos that don't require as much editing, as I have a tendency to get lost in Final Cut. But like always, my goal is to continue to produce fewer videos that are shot at a higher quality rather than dropping more content quantity. You can blame my years of video production for that. As the sun sets on 2025 and we look forward to the break of dawn in 2026, let's talk about my last year of adventures and dungeon crawling games, what I got into, games I acquired, and most importantly, where Avalon Hill might take HeroQuest with its future releases. Let's get into this. It was Christmas Eve of 2024 and I found myself scrolling once again on eBay looking for a copy of Advanced HeroQuest. When my search finally ended and I committed to purchasing a game I never knew existed as a child. Since then, my board gaming hobby has grown into shelves worth of dusty cardboard and plastic miniatures begging to be painted and played with. If you followed the channel over the past year and a half, you'll get an idea of what my son and I have gotten ourselves into. Enjoying massive war games like Battle Masters, smaller gems like Talisman 3rd Edition, and Space Crusade, as well as playing expensive games like Warhammer Quest. 1995, of course. On this channel, we're going to keep it retro. Yet after hours and hours of side questing into similar dungeon crawling adjacent games, I always find myself coming back to HeroQuest. Its charming characters, the accessible rules, the monsters and magic, and most importantly, the all-around fun the game provides for a party of 5 adventurers. You don't have to read a textbook worth of content before you sit down and play. Which brings me to my first talking point. Why are so many of us eager to incorporate homebrew content into the HeroQuest game system? Don't get me wrong, there's a rich history of homebrew that's been around long before Avalon Hill got into the mix. But in 2026, we have now 11 expansions, 12 playable hero characters, and a reimagined introductory game system in First Light. There's just about everything that Homebrew has to offer in official form. Advanced difficulty levels and sprawling monsters from Jungles of Delthrak, an underground market as well as an alchemist shop from Rise of Dreadmoon that's full of craft potions created from reagents found in the dungeon, an oracle from First Light that delves out blessings and curses, mind points mechanics finally fleshed out and against the Ogre Horde, dread spells with just about every release, and now we see a set of boons of heroism in Wizards of Markar, allowing heroes to visit the town between quests and level up with advanced mechanics. All of these major rule additions have not only expanded the game, but continue to add flavor to our favorite dungeon crawler. Gone are the days where Homebrew was a necessity to keep the game alive. I have years worth of content on my shelves, as you can see, that I haven't even gotten to enjoy yet. So why do so many people pick up the game system and immediately ask for unofficial Homebrew content that they think they need to enjoy the game? I get it. Homebrew content is fun. I've reviewed a lot of it on the channel, and I'll continue to do so if people choose to send it to me. But we're at a saturation point that I can no longer keep up with. Between hero boxes, advanced card systems, and dungeon event decks, the fandom is swimming in content that I find at times detracts from the simple gameplay mechanics that HeroQuest provides. Let's face it, HeroQuest is not Dungeons and Dragons. When I tell people I play dungeon crawling board games with my son, they often ask if it's D&D, then they immediately follow that with, is it Warhammer? Was HeroQuest intended to be a gateway into more advanced role-playing games? Of course it was, but it's intentionally not the same, and for specific reasons. It's more accessible to children, it doesn't take a long time to set up and start playing, and literally anyone can sit down and learn how to play and enjoy the game. As much as I love the following games, it's not Advanced HeroQuest, and it's not Warhammer Quest. Now that I have those games in my collection, I can see where most, if not all, of our Homebrew content steals from these other game systems. Now that I understand those games, I feel those systems muddy HeroQuest down and rob the joy that those games provide. I understand that most people won't bother to track down and spend a lot of money on rare and expensive copies of those older game systems. So the appeal to incorporate those into HeroQuest can be fun and exciting, but it comes at a cost. And if we're talking about Homebrew HeroQuest miniatures, just know that 3D printed minis will never hold up in the long run. Trust me, I know firsthand. Last year, I sat down to recreate a system from Advanced HeroQuest and incorporate it into HeroQuest that relied heavily on the game dungeon tokens from the Advanced system. It's functional and fun, and I even went as far as to start hand drawing the card art because so many people in the fandom simply hate AI generative art. I can see its benefits at times, but that's a conversation for a future video. As I was drawing, it dawned on me that the system just isn't necessary. Sure, it adds fun, but the game is better off without another turn sequence, even if it's geared towards a bored Zargon player. And on top of that, I would feel icky trying to sell it on Drive-Thru RPG. Homebrew content should be free, especially if it's not your original work. So like most of my projects, it simply got shelved, for now at least. If Avalon Hill continues to steer HeroQuest in the right direction, which I believe they have and will continue to do so, barring any financial situations and strain from the Hasbro subsidiary you might see in 2026, with the tariffs and all of that situation, they will continue to take the game to new places. So after much internal debate, I've decided to minimize my dependency on Homebrew systems, as I've learned to appreciate the simplicity of HeroQuest and what it has to offer in its raw form. With that being said, I took the time to rework and clean up the HeroQuest Unofficial Guidebook, taking the time to edit out most of the Homebrew editions that I had in its original form and keep to the official script with a few minor exceptions. For those of you who don't know, the HeroQuest Unofficial Guidebook is a document I've compiled over the past year, playing and sitting down with my children and introducing them to the vast world of HeroQuest. Within its almost 200 pages, you'll find history, backstories on all the heroes, dungeon events, card references, as well as every monster with stats and lore to use when you sit down and play the game. It's been extremely helpful for us when we go to purchase weapons, make craft potions, or need to know the stats of a specific monster. With the official release of Wizards of Markar, I took the time to update the expansion, and doing so opened a Pandora's box of edits. Once I started changing one thing, I ended up changing another, and so on. With the new addition of the new wizard, the Artificer, we also have a few new monsters, dread shifters, and artifacts that are all new to the classic reworking of this expansion. I spent a large number of hours rewording everything in the guidebook to the Avalon Hill release. I'm talking treasure cards, spell cards, dread spells, artifacts, many of which I did not realize changed some gameplay in the re-release. I made sure to update the new content when needed, but chose to keep the original artwork where there was a classic release prior. I've added new game mechanics like the Boons of Heroism, and removed advanced mechanics like the advanced game system, as well as the Axion Quest dungeon events. I chose to keep the furniture search mechanics in there since we started to see Avalon Hill incorporate some of these into First Light and Rise of the Dreadmoon. I also kept Lazurin's Sir Ragnar hero as a playable character since I personally like to use him from time to time, and we're going to get a heroic miniature of him in Wizards of Morcar. We might even see a character arc in this quest book. Also, the champion elf hero created by Mondo Laboratories has made the cut because you can download the cards for free and you can use the elf character furniture statue from Rise of the Dreadmoon as a hero character with little modifications, just simply cutting it off its base. I created a backstory that ties this character into my favorite White Dwarf quest, the Halls of Durugdog, so this elf won't be going anywhere in my gameplay. I feel it's a nice addition that doesn't break the bank or require fragile 3D printed miniatures, and everyone knows how much I love the elf hero. All that being said, I plan on releasing updates yearly or with the official expansions as they're released. I do not plan on making any profit off this book, as I do not own the rights to any of the content in there, nor do I intend to challenge them. It's simply a reference guide for the fandom to use for their private use, and in the future, if I'm asked to take it down, I will gladly do so. And this brings me to my last talking point. Where do I think Avalon Hill will take us in 2026? Now that Wizards of Morcar is sitting on pallets in warehouse, waiting to officially be released anywhere between February and March of 2026, the future of HeroQuest is a blank slate. All the official expansions from the 90s have been reprinted and released, and after 5 years of content, Avalon Hill finds himself in an exciting situation. What secret projects are they working on? Will we see the rumored Abomination Expansion in 2026? I'd be curious as to find out how this aquatic monster found its way into the dungeon, because personally I would rather have seen trolls in the official release when they removed the Ephemeral Warrior. But adding a backstory couldn't hurt how I feel about this character any more than I already do, and as long as they bring back the Mythic Tier sculpt, which I found to be the better of the two, I'd be happy to see an Abomination Expansion. We all know that Avalon Hill has the tools, the creativity, and the know-how to create exciting expansions like we saw in the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness, as well as Jungles of Deltharak. Could we see the addition of more hero expansions in 2026? It seems they're extremely popular, with the Rogue at this point being next to impossible to find. We're still waiting on that second print, I believe. It seems these small expansions would be easier to finance and get to market and do not require a huge undertaking. These miniatures are easy to drop into existing game systems and expansions without a complete reworking of game mechanics and lore. I would love to see a Warrior Priest added to gameplay, and it would work great alongside a Skaven expansion. Come on now, Avalon Hill. Give us some Ratmen, some Trolls, Rat Ogres, and even a White Seer. I would love to get my hands on one of these expansions. It's time we truly dive into the underworld of man and take on the Horn Rats. As far as unofficial releases go, I'm extremely impressed with Hispa Zargon's Advanced HeroQuest expansion. It's a true love letter to fans, and to see such craftsmanship for a product that never made it to the US in the 90s is amazing. Be sure to check out an unboxing video. You can find one on AshQuest, or even go to Lagardio de Morcar's channel, where he sent really nice worked up boxes with all the material, the minis, the cards to them. I was not lucky to get my hands on one of those, but maybe in the future, let's go, Hispa Zargon. Send me one of those. Hit me up. I love that a lot of people went out of their way to recreate this wonderful relic, complete with original hand-drawn art and an expansion of the original release. As far as there was a lot of playtesting that went involved as well, and it's all free to download right now, so I'll add a link in the description below for you. As stated in last year's video, I'm still anxiously waiting for an unreleased Wizard quest pack, not to be confused with the newly Wizards of Morcar expansion, but one that will be released in a similar fashion of the advanced game system. Complete with newly sculpted miniatures based off of sketches from the manuscripts that they had got their hands on in the 90s, the Wizards Quest Pack has been teased in advanced HeroQuest releases. There was a mini poster involved, and there was also a solo quest released a few months back called Dark Magic, a Sinister Sorcerers Introductory adventure, complete with game tiles, a tiger monster tile, an alchemist bookcase that you can exchange into the gameplay with the original bookcase. And I've recreated this piece at home, and it's really cool. Wait. Nope, I got it here. Nope, that's not it.
Hey!
Nope, it's not it. It's only a matter of time before we officially see this unofficial quest pack finally released, and I look forward to the retooling of the Dwarf quest pack as well. Both documents are in good hands with Luca Pasci and his Bizargon, as well as a whole bunch of other people working on the back end to recreate miniatures and the artwork and all the content that we'd be able to receive that will also be included as a free download. So stay tuned for its unofficial release in 2026. I don't want to rush perfection, but it was due to be out in 2025. It's just a little bit overdue. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you like what you see and would like to continue to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe for future content. Also, if you'd like to support my work, ship in to buy me a coffee as I spend late nights editing so that I can entertain y'all and provide HeroQuest news and just share my passion for vintage board gaming. I have a lot of fun videos planned for 2026, some painting videos as well as some playthrough videos with all those board games that you see behind me. So please stay tuned, stick around, and get excited for what I have coming up. Like always, united the heroes stand, divided they fall. Come, let the quest begin.